Top of the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Hope we're all having a fantastic day so far. I know I am. Beautiful day here in Palm Springs. 75 and sunny. Man, we are loving October so far. And I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video, yes, it is that time again. I made this video about a year and a half ago, and honestly, it was just time to update it. Obviously, still help the new guys out, but also sprinkle in some tips and tricks kind of towards the end for the aficionado, because no one knows everything, and I want to do everything I can to make sure you're making the best choice possible for a cigar that's right for you on your next trip to your local brick and mortar. It's real easy to do, real simple once you know what to look for. So right off the bat, we got to start with the new guys or the irregular smokers, anyone that's kind of looking for something more mild or approachable. I would say pretty much right off the bat, especially if you're new, stay away from anything super rare or limited or really over $25. Your palate is not refined enough yet to really pick up on why that cigar is going to be $25, $50, $100. And you can find a phenomenal cigar these days, even with where I am in California, for around that $10 price point. Naturally, stuff like this, I will always recommend. If you're starting out, definitely want to go something a little bit on the smaller side, right? So like a Robusto, Petite Robusto, Corona, Petite Corona, that kind of thing. Connecticut wrapper, or something definitely much lighter like this guy right here. It's a Connecticut shade. And then you've got a Dominican binder and filler. If you are new, definitely encourage you to ask the local tobacconist. So whatever brick and mortar you're going into, definitely ask them for some help. I promise it's not weird. It doesn't, a lot of people walk into humidors and it's like, and this intimidating thing, it really doesn't need to be like that. Any humidor I go to or any of the shops I go to, people want to help. There's usually people that light up behind the counter when they hear that you are new because they're excited to make sure you're getting the cigar that's right for you. Like, no one wants to scare away someone from cigars, and it can be easy to do that if you misguide them. So that's kind of what our whole purpose is of just being here. We want to help everyone the best we can, pick out that choice that's right for you. And naturally, when you're starting, you got to go with the smaller size. You need to go more mild. There's nothing really more mild right now than a Dominican Connecticut cigar. That's about as mild as it gets. Arturo Fuente, that's the #1 Dominican company, and honestly just one of the #1 companies overall. So you really can't go wrong with them. They're consistent, they're reliable, they're in a lot of humidors. If you're here in the United States, I'm sure you see these guys just about everywhere, but they're everywhere for a reason, right? It's kind of like Oliva. You're just so consistent, so reliable, fantastic balance of, quality and price. So it's going to work for a lot of people. Definitely another mention, the Ashton Classics. Again, Dominican guts, Connecticut wrapper. It's simple. These are not going to be complex. It's going to be a very straightforward smoke. The construction's great. The draw is great. Everything about it is perfect for a newbie. It's just, the aroma's good, the flavor's good. It's not anything you have to fight with. And honestly, when you're just starting, the last thing you need is like construction issues because you're not going to know what's going on. But I would say those are great. The Fuentes are great. And again, like the one I recommended, this is like a Corona size, right? So it's a little bit longer, but it's a thinner gauge. And that thin ring, or the thinner rings, are going to burn a little bit quicker. So that's usually how your duration of smoke is determined, is by the ring gauge. So when you get something like a 44, that's going to burn a lot quicker than a 50 or 52. You do have some like Central American options that are Connecticut wrapped, but those are definitely getting a little bit more medium. And again, you could still probably be fine to go that route, but you just have so many options for Dominican products that are Connecticut wrapped. I would still try to stick with that when you're brand new. After you try a few and you're like, yeah, this is fine, then yeah, definitely go to stuff like that. Try the San Cristobal Elegancia. That's a fantastic one. Even, I do recommend these quite a bit too. Charter Oak Connecticut's, right? Like one of the best-selling cigars we had last year. And this is like a Rothschild is the size. So pretty approachable. Smaller than a Robusto. Closed foot, killer smoke, under $10. So you have a ton of options. If you're newer, just look for something a bit lighter. And then, of course, I do encourage you to ask your tobacconist. They will be more than happy to guide you. No problem at all. If you're looking for something more medium, that's definitely where the window kind of opens up a lot, because most cigars are going to be medium to full nowadays anyway. So you really won't have a hard time with that. Again, just kind of going off like the wrapper. You're going to try to look for like that in between, right? And again, you know, you can find stuff that, you know, you see lighter, you see like these broadleaves much darker, and then you can try to find something like, you know, see the Julius Caesars, where you're getting a lot of like really good Habano options, and these are pretty much like right in the middle. So I recommend these all the time for more of that medium smoke, delicious chocolate note, which, you know, I just don't get with a lot of Habanos, but I do with this guy. Absolutely delicious. Good chocolate note there, very medium, very simple. One of the highest rated medium smokes, like the Encore, right? And you can tell, even if you don't know wrappers, you can still tell just by, you know, kind of that color. It's not super light, it's not super dark. You know, it shouldn't be too crazy. You should be pretty medium. And yeah, that's just a decent rule of thumb to use. It does help to also just know the brands, right? Know where they come from, know where they operate out of. Because, you know, if there's a Dominican company or a Nicaraguan company or whatever, you know, that's going to make a huge difference just even knowing that information, you know. Because most guys that want a super heavy smoke, they almost stay away from Arturo Fuente completely. You know what I mean? Same thing with like Ashton. They might get a VSG, but no, like most guys, they look for something specific if it's going to be really heavy. It's usually not a Dominican product. But these guys, the Encore 96 rated, beautiful medium smoke. Recommend these all the time. Olmecs, the Claros, fantastic medium smoke. Yeah, the Caesars. Flor de Los Antillas, recommend these all the time. Great coffee note, good mixed nuts. Phenomenal, very consistent, very budget friendly, great daily option as well. Fantastic medium option smoke, great marbling in the wrapper. Love that. Yeah, a lot of my father's, the Oliva stuff. You can find a lot of medium smokes. Like my favorite medium, Connecticut, still the Damaso, right? This is like a true medium smoke, great baking spice notes, just freaking delicious, man. Air through a straw, just seamless. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend this for like a first-time smoker, but if you try a few Connecticut's and you're just like, yeah, I don't see what the hype is, definitely go to the sun-grown options. You will get a little bit more strength, but man, that flavor is so much better usually. And this is a great example right here. Even the My Father Connecticut, that's a killer one as well. Great sun-grown Connecticut. And then for those that are looking for more of a full-bodied option or just a good Maduro, this is definitely kind of something that I prefer to look for myself. And over time, you do kind of get these, like a certain eye, you know, because when you look at a box, even say something with like the Padrones, very consistent, right? They are known for being like all the same. But there's always going to be some that are just better than others. And if you're in another humidor, sometimes like what I like to do is I like to look for those that are really toothy, right? And some people don't know what a toothy wrapper is. It's really just those little bumps you see. If the camera can pick it up. If you can see that kind of like that texture, like little oil pockets. And as the cigar burns, you'll get this very like thick oil ring kind of walks its way down the cigar. Very flavorful. Usually the wrapper itself, if it is toothy, is going to be a little bit more oily, has a little bit more of a shine to it. That's another good characteristic to look for. Again, this mostly applies to like just the Maduros because the Connecticut's won't really do this. A lot of the other wrappers won't really do this. It's going to be some kind of Maduro wrapper of some kind. Typically, the San Andreas will get a really nice toothy one. I usually see some really good toothy San Andreas wrappers. Even some Sumatras as well, really nice. But you can kind of see a difference, right? Because you see, especially like right in here, very, very toothy. And if I can do it like a side-by-side almost. See the difference? That one on the left, much smoother. So like I would pick that one on the right every single time. Like if I'm just in someone's humidor, right, I'm just walking through, I'm like, ooh, that's a nice toothy one right there, see? That one on the right, that's the winner all day, every day. So, and a lot of Maduros do that. I just did this as like an example. But yeah, definitely look for something that has like that real oily shine to it. And then also has like just that texture, those like bumps. Toothy wrappers, always a good way to go. Another reason I do like the Maduro option because yeah, you'll get like the, you know, the naturals, which are still nice, but you get that Maduro. Something about the Maduro, the flavor is just so rich, you know, and they just look so good. Obviously with me, like the torpedoes, I pick out some toothy torpedoes all the time. Just really nice. But that's a really good thing to look for. You know, if you're just, you know, maybe you've been smoking cigars for 30 years. You've never even heard of what a toothy wrapper is, you know. Hey, there you go. I'd say another great way to pick it up is if you can ever see cigars like in these cabs of 50. This is awesome because they age so well in these cabs of 50. And usually, you know, again, you know, don't be tearing up someone's shop. You know, don't be digging in there, destroying everything, looking for that one toothy cigar, right? If it's not like kind of on top or like here, just pick the best one from there. Don't go digging in someone's box looking for like a specific wrapper, right? But with these guys, you know, the ones up top, at least at the very top, usually won't have anything like, you know, too crazy. You know, they're not going to be super oily, but when you start getting, you know, kind of like in there, they usually have a really good shine to them. Love cabs of 50. So pretty oily on this one. Kind of toothy as well. So yeah, just looking for that shine as well on the wrapper. Also nice. And again, there's a lot of people that's literally just noise, like they couldn't care less, right? There's a lot of guys that come in here, they're grabbing a bundle of, you know, budget-friendly Maduro 6x60s. They're going to pay 70 bucks. And they do not care if it's a toothy cigar or an oily cigar. That's just noise to them. And that's totally cool too. I just like throwing this kind of stuff out there just in case, because it helps me. And honestly, I've noticed a difference over the years of smoking ones that I just randomly walk in, just pick one out of the box, and then taking the time to go through and really making sure you select the one that's right for you, you know. And again, don't destroy someone's box. Don't destroy the presentation. Don't handle everything. Don't be pushing on all the cigars. Don't be doing anything like that. But, you know, you can tell just with a trained eye which ones are definitely worth. So see if you can tell. And there's plenty of Maduros. You know, box after box you'll open. There is nothing that's really toothy or super oily. It's why a lot of times when guys like, what's a good example? Like the Foundation 10th anniversary, right? That giant figurado that just came out. Why is that so attractive, right? Is it the shape? Well, maybe. But it's really because of how dark that wrapper is, right? They're so dark and oily and toothy that it's really attractive and it just really draws your eye in. And it's usually that kind of sticks out. So, you know, as your eye gets more and more trained, you'll naturally be drawn towards very certain things in the box. But that's just, at least for me, something that I've practiced for a long time. Toothy, oily Maduros, picking the best ones. And yeah, if you're newer, definitely wouldn't worry about any of that stuff. But that is a tip that I've always kind of gone with. It served me very well up until this point. So it does suck because you can't really apply like that toothiness to like a lot of other wrappers. But when you do see it, it is a nice little surprise. I have seen it on a couple of Opus before. I've gotten some toothy wrappers on there. Definitely on some of like the Maduro Hemingways as well. I've kind of seen some more toothy and oily wrappers on there. But yeah, for the most part, it's mostly on those Central American options. But yeah, if you're new, brand new to cigars, Connecticut, Dominican options. If you've been around the block for a while but still want something kind of medium or kind of still mild, just do a Connecticut wrap Nicaraguan option. Sober Mesas, San Cristobal Elegancia, Padron de Maso, My Father, Sun-Grown Connecticut. Tons and tons of options. All going to have a lot of great flavor. All going to be like perfectly medium. They're going to get the job done no problem. And they're all really good prices, honestly. Probably except for Dunbarton. But yeah, the rest are really good prices. And then yeah, if you consider yourself an aficionado, but you didn't know about the toothy wrappers or how oily the wrappers are, congratulations, you learned something new. But overall, that's going to be about it. Just something real quick, simple, to the point. Since season's coming back, I just wanted to get this video out once again. For all the new guys, man, we get lots of people that play golf around here. There's tons of like weddings, bachelor parties, you know what I mean? Like conventions, all kinds of stuff, to where like we get so many irregular smokers that like 60 to 70% of our business during season is literally mild cigars. So we have a ton of options. Always try to help everyone out the best we can. And that's about where we're going to be today, boys. Definitely appreciate the support. If you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe if you like this kind of content, like the videos, share it, all that good stuff. Helps the channel out a ton. And if you know anything about tobacco and YouTube, boy, that is a rough ride right there. So we're doing what we can just to stick around, just to try to support the little family business we have. If there's anything I can do for any one of you, any questions I can answer, feel free to reach out to the shop. Always happy to answer any questions I can. Do all this for educational purposes. I do not like to gatekeep information. I give everything away for free if I possibly can. But yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we will see you in the next one.